also crowd, part of the crowd. So when the crowd is sensing means, crowd sensing means it is sensing through your individual mobile phone. Because everyone is using, most of them are using the smartphones like Android and everything, where they have cameras, there are lots of sensors. By using that, we are capturing the data around us in the world. So mobile crowd sensing is a very, very relevant and important topic in the field of electronics as well as instrumentation and computer science. Lots of computational algorithms are developed to design this mobile crowd sensing technique. Now, if you see the development, you know that first mobile means the wireless communication started in the year almost 100 years before, where J.C. Bose started. After that, Marconi claimed, but actually after that, IEEE has proved it that J.C. Bose is the father of wireless communication, and we all must be proud of our J.C. Bose, who has developed this machine, which is in front of you. And this machine was developed in more than 100 years before, and all these things means all the things are available at Bose Institute. And I was also fortunate to handle this machine. That's why I'm showing you this machine. And there's a very simple transmitter in a millimeter wave microwave sensors are there. And we have seen the simple current flow. And it's the very simplest form of transmitter and receiver, where J.C. Bose has shown more than 100 years before. So IEEE has recognized J.C. Bose as father, not Marconi, mind it. Everyone says Marconi, it's not Marconi, it is J.C. Bose. And this is the first transmitter receiver. Those who are interested, they can visit Bose Institute near the Science College, beside Science College, Rajavaja Science College. So it is there. And I was fortunate to use and handle it when I was MTech student in our Science College radiophysics department.
Dr. Dev?
Yeah.
May I interrupt you for a second?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, your slides are not visible. Actually, I think you have not used the slideshow option.
The slide is busy, slideshow is there. Okay, I'm just closing it again. Is it not visible? Okay. So may I ask the question, who is the father of this, who has first developed the mobile phone, our so-called mobile phone, what you are using? And can anyone tell me? Who first developed the first handheld mobile phone? Can you hear me? He is a person called Martin Cooper. Martin Cooper is the first person who developed this mobile phone. He was working in Motorola, and he has developed this mobile phone, which we are using almost for 25 years. We are using, and you'll be happy this person is still alive. Martin Cooper, he came to Delhi. I was fortunate to meet him, and this is the first telephone device he's holding in his hand. Now, every mobile phone has sensor. I've already mentioned that we have smartphone like iPhone, where the accurate BP measurement is possible, oximeter measurement is possible using this biomedical health monitoring system. Even if you go to a hotel, you can measure the food quality using the sensor. Food quality measurement is also possible. That means you can check using a screen, and the software will tell you how old the food was served to you, whether it's 2 days or 7 days old. So this kind of sensing capabilities are also possible. Other sensor are also called light sensor. You can measure the intensity of light and everything. Agricultural sensor is also very popular. Agricultural sensor is very, very popular. Now people are using agriculture, especially the farmers. Government of India is giving a lot of stress for the farmers. So the lot of projects are coming up, lots of mobile apps are coming up with the development of sensor. So electronics people have to do a lot of device design for sensing capability. Thousands of sensors are there developing, especially in Calcutta. If you go to CGCRI, Center of Glass and Ceramic Research Institute, which is in Jadavpur, they have developed a lot of agricultural sensors. Even smart nose, CDAC has developed smart nose. Nose can be also detected. Even if you go to fish market, you know how old the fish, that can be also measured. Fish quality measurement sensors are also there. So your mobile phone is not only doing for working as a communication device, not only talking to your friends or your relatives, it is also giving multi kind of sensing capabilities to all the human being to serve the society. Okay. Now I am coming to the topic for today. What we are discussing, that mobile crowd sensing is basically individuals. Every individual here I have given 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10% are there. Everyone is having their own mobile phone. So they are doing certain job for us. They are capturing the data. They are sensing various kinds of data from the world. So you know that unity is strength, right? When individuals with sensing and computing devices collectively share the data. Collectively means everyone get the information and share the data, and we can extract certain useful information to measure and map the phenomena of common interest. So this is known as mobile crowd sensing. This is a very important definition. So any question for this? Is it
Dr.
clear?
Dr.
Yes.
Day, all the questions will be asked in the interactive session. Everybody is requested to put their questions in the chat box, and we will put them to you one after another during the interactive session.
Fine. So the crowd sensing, basically, I'm just repeating again. This is very important because if you do not understand this meaning of the slide, it will be difficult. So individuals having their own mobile phone, their phone is sensing and also as well as computing, because mobile phone has a lot of RAM nowadays. 8 GB RAM mobile phones are available. So it has also a lot of memory. Say 64 GB memory is there. It is sensing, it is storing, and it is also computing. So mobile is doing sensing, storing, and computing, and collectively share the data and extract the information and measure and map the phenomena of common interest. They can map the phenomena of common interest. So that is very important. Actually, otherwise it will not help for the society. So I'll give you some example how that will serve the interest, common interest for the society. So for common people, okay. Now, say this is the area of interest, AOI. So where you can see the mobile phones are there. Mobile phones means the user, the crowd. They are present around the city. They are collecting certain data and they're sending the data to the base station. Either this tower or small tower. These towers collect the data and send the data to the platform. What is the platform? This platform is known as mobile cloud platform, because mobile is collecting the data and sending the data to the cloud. So this is known as mobile cloud platform. And see, in the service area, there is some requester. This requester is basically requesting for certain service. From whom? They are asking for the service to the user. This requester through the cloud, they're asking to the user. For example, you are going to a restaurant on Park Street. Okay, you can see the rating of the restaurant. If it is 2.4, then you will not enter. If it is 4.3, 4.5, then you will choose. Similarly, now it is a health hazard time, so everyone is going to hospital. You have to select the hospital where the rating is high. So the requester will request to the user, and some of them will give the answer. Sometimes their answer is available in the cloud. Sometimes the user directly give their answer to the requester. So for example, there is wheelchair facilities available at, say, Apollo Hospital. So they will make a request. Maybe the data is available in the cloud. Otherwise, any of the user, those who have visited this Apollo Hospital, they'll give the answer yes. By this way, the requester will get the reply. What kind of platform, what kind of result they are wanting. So similarly, if someone is requester is asking, you want to go to say Dom to Shambhajar. There are many various roads through Ultodanga, through Belgachia. Which road they will select? It is a real-time operation. They will ask for the user and they can see which road there is a congestion. Accordingly, they can choose or select that road. Everyone uses Google Map, right? In the Google Map, you can see the congestion road. It shows the time, 15 minutes from source to destination. If you go for the other route, it may take 10 minutes. So what do? We select the 10 minutes route because that will give you that will save you time. So this is thing called area of interest. Either it can be hospital, it can be road, it can be a it can be cinema also, anything of your area of interest. Okay. So what you can see, everyone is under the cloud. Say all the people are there walking, either they're walking or they're cycling. So this is the area of interest. All the data is actually going to the cloud network. Cloud is basically observing. So everyone's mobile data is connected to the cloud. So this is also known as mobile to cloud network. So if you see the history wise, you know that earlier we used to have human sensing. We are pancho-indriya, right? We can sense. Either we can taste, we can smell, we can sense by our human organs. This is called human perception. This is old age, 1820. After that, electronics people, they have developed. What they have developed? They have developed the sensors. Sensors are transducer, right? Converts non-electrical signal to electrical signal. So this is called physical sensing. In the year of 1970, 1980, after that, we have called sensing capability called intelligent sensing. Intelligent sensing means we are putting the mobile phone as a sensor. See, it is in the year of 2000 or 2020. So what we are doing, or 2015, what we are doing, we are taking the data from the mobile itself, right? Either through the spec or through the mobile. Ultimately, you are processing using machine learning techniques. Nowadays, in 2020 or 2030, this is known as smart sensing. So we are jumping from human perception to physical sensing to intelligent sensing to smart sensing. What is smart? You can see lot of people, they are working together and capturing the data, and they are giving the data. So this is known as mobile cloud sensing. So this is also known as social IoT. Social IoT means all the social people, they are calling, or rather they are capturing the data, and after capturing the data, they are sensing the data to the server. So this is known as social IoT. Mobile cloud sensing is also known as social IoT. Okay. So in this year 2020, everyone, even the children, know that we know what is called that physical sensing, right? Or physical distancing. That also can be measured. What is the average physical distancing in Calcutta? What is the average physical distancing in say Chennai or in Mumbai or in Delhi? So using their mobile phone data, the distance between the people can be captured, and that can be stored in the server, cloud server. By this way, average physical distancing, whether it is mentioned or measured, that also can be sensed. So this is known as smart sensing. And a lot of people, it's a very, very important and interesting research area in the year of 2020. So this is a time where a lot of people are doing a lot of research on smart sensing. Okay. So industrial IoT, so this is the age where we are using mobile cloud sensing for smart sensing purpose. So I have already mentioned, we are not only using mobile computing, we are using cloud computing together. Mobile phone can compute. Mobile is also as a computing capability. It has lot of power and it can do lot of application. Actually, mobile phone is a largest disruptive technology. Disruptive means it stops many other business. We are not buying the what's called Titan watch. That business has gone. Titan is now in gold business. So we are not buying the camera. Sony is making a huge loss. They're making only mobile phone. So all these kinds of sensing, thousands of applications now inbuilt in our mobile phone. So mobile phone can compute, and so mobile computing is very, very important research area in this present time. Now we have various kinds of cells, small cell to big macro cell. You know, we see the towers, bigger towers at our locality, that's called macro cell. Small cells of 1 kilometer is called micro cell. Macro cell is 4 kilometer radius. Micro cell radius is 1 kilometer. Pico cell radius is 600 meter. The crowded area like Park Street, like Sector 5 Salt Lake, the companies like Jio, Vodafone, they have installed Pico cell. Okay. Other kinds of cell which is used, sometimes we have seen that in your mobile phone there is no signal or low signal. Even you can use a tower in your home, which is known as femtocell. So it will cover only your house, only your flat, not more than that. Okay. So while we are talking about mobile computing, we have limited battery life, and we also have limited storage capability of mobile device. Also have limited processing power of mobile device, and also have the bandwidth. So these are the limitation of mobile phones, right? You know that battery gets drained very fast when you're doing a lot of operation. Smartphones are not smartphone. Smartphone become unsmart when you are doing when you install lots of mobile apps in your mobile phone, right? So we have limited storage capabilities. Then what will happen? We have to take the help of the cloud. Cloud, everyone know, it gives the virtualization. Cloud is storing the data in the server in somewhere. So it is basically on-demand, pay-as-you-go service. Cloud is a on-demand, pay-as-you-go service. When mobile phone cannot perform the operation, it will send the data to the cloud. So we also have sensor cloud. Data is transferred to the cloud. So mobile-based cloud is very, very popular. So all the data, what we are capturing through these laboratories, maybe traffic data, health data, all the sensor data, say parking data, parking lot, smart transport, entertainment data, factory data, everything is going through the cloud using the mobile. So it is known as mobile cloud computing using this sensor cloud. So cloud is storing the data of the sensor, so it is known as sensor cloud. So it is also virtual sensor cloud, which is an integral part of mobile cloud sensing. So this figure tells itself that we are using mobile computing and cloud computing together. So I have also published one book on this topic, mobile cloud computing. And mobile and cloud, they have combined this data together to form this mobile cloud computing, where the advantage of mobility is coming from this mobile device and cloud is giving storage. So this mobile cloud computing become very, very powerful and very important tool for sensing or mobile cloud sensing. Okay. So see, lots of electronics is involved because mobility is measured by the mobile phone itself. You know, using your mobile phone, you can go anywhere, you can measure or map your data anywhere in the world, anywhere. So that's give the flexibility, and clouds give the power of storage on demand. So mobile cloud computing is very, very important application where we are taking the advantage of both mobile computing, mobility facility, cloud computing, storage facility. Okay. So mobile cloud computing is the bread and butter, rather the resource for mobile cloud sensing purpose. Now, another very important thing that when you're talking about data cloud, what is a popular cloud? Say Amazon is a cloud. You know, we purchase the data from, we purchase the products also, Amazon, right? From Amazon, Flipkart. Amazon cloud, there is no Amazon cloud in Calcutta. Amazon cloud is in Mumbai. So what will happen if you are sensing certain things in your mobile phone, your data will go to your servers and it will go to Mumbai and it will come back. So it will take a lot of time. It may take several minutes. But there are many important applications where we cannot wait for several minutes. So what we do, we're using one kind of nearby cloud called edge computing. These edge devices are very much close to you, right? The sensors that are sensing the data to the edge devices. Edge is the nearby device. And fog may be the device of the or local server. That means you're from Surendranath College, may have some server which is running at the cloud college level. All the college students, teachers, they are sensing and sending the data to the college cloud. If it can handle, then it will give the reply to the devices. Otherwise, if the data size is very high, then it will only go to the cloud. So all three are cloud actually. This is the distance cloud, this is the nearby cloud, and this cloud is very close to you. Even your mobile phone is also one kind of cloud, because it has 64 GB, or sometimes it may have 180 GB storage with 4 GB or 8 GB RAM. So your mobile phone is also one kind of local cloud. So this is known as edge, EDGE. Edge means which is close to you. So all the sensing data will be stored in your mobile phone itself, and it will do the computing and send the data to the sensors. So for example, say there is a health data, someone is in hospital. So if you go to all the hospitals, modern hospitals, I can give one example, say Medica, all the things are automated. All the doctors or nurses are getting alarm in their mobile devices. So they are using this edge technology. Microsoft is deploying this edge for the hospital as a solution. Even Microsoft, their operating system is coming up with edge solutions. And wait 2-3 years, everyone, those who are listening to this lecture, they will be using this edge technology. Even Jio launched edge this month, this September. Jio launched edge technology in Calcutta. You'll be happy to know edge is launched in Calcutta. So using your Jio device, you can see your mobile phone, you can see your television, you can enjoy all kind of network related activities at a very affordable cost. See, I'm not giving advertisement of Jio, but they are the first company started this kind of services in Calcutta. So all kinds of internet, television, telecommunication activities are. So this year to 2020 is basically a year of edge device or edge cloud or nearby cloud. Okay. So this is a 3-layer architecture. This is the most important part. What is the advantage of using edge? Because it gives real-time operation. For example, for a patient, 1 second is very important. So we can use edge technology for the patients. So we can get the service, patient can get the service, say oxygen should be on within a millisecond. So that can be edge-based service. If we use that one for cloud, it may take say several minutes, then by the time patient may die. So we cannot wait for so long time. So edge is a very, very popular and which is very useful for IoT application, Internet of Things applications, as well as for mobile crowd sensing application. Okay. And if you see another thing, it is a billions of device. Cloud is 1,000. 10 to 100 times is billion, and edge is billions. Means everyone, all of us are carrying these edge devices. If you go to buy a camera, if you have a printer, nowadays they have called Bluetooth printer. Bluetooth printer is nothing but edge device. Your camera, you don't need to put a jack or cable. It can transfer the data. If you purchase a new Sony camera, it can send the data through Bluetooth or any IoT technology. So edge is very, very popular, and billions of devices are actually handling this. And in our university, we are doing extensive research for developing these edge-based systems, right? We are developing the algorithms, computation algorithm. We are also developing the sensors and the modules. So electronics people has a lot of things to do. Those who are from electronics background, they have the challenge to develop this kind of things using Raspberry Pi or Arduino kit. Advantage is the cost of the kits are all below 10,000, all below 10,000. So for doing research in IoT, 10,000 rupees, maybe 5,000 rupees also sufficient. So that is the advantage of you doing research in Edge. So during this time, everyone is doing at home. All the students that are doing research at home, and they're purchasing all the devices. Mobile phone is there. They're purchasing the Arduino. They're doing some small programming, and they're developing certain modules, sensing modules for this purpose. So even nowadays, all the games means children's toys. Few days before our Prime Minister is talking about toys. There will be Edge toys. The toys will be run by the Edge devices. There will be Edge enabled toys, and you'll be happy to know we are also developing these Edge toys. So that very simple. It will be handled by your mobile phone. Children can use the mobile, or their parents can use the mobile, and the toy will run, fly. Even the drones can be also controlled by using this Edge device. So drone is also one of the very important area of application using this Edge device area. So I'm just skipping this. So actually what is happening, actually we are using this mobile device. Data is going to the mobile service provider, maybe Jio, maybe Vodafone, maybe Airtel. Then through the internet, it is going to the cloud servers or application servers. So this is a 4 layer. Layer 1, mobile device. Layer 2, network providers. Layer 3, internet service provider. Then it is going to the cloud. So this is the basic architecture of mobile cloud sensing. So already I mentioned this thing that we will sense, we will learn. After sensing, we will learn what kind of data we are sensing. What is the important information we are capturing from the sensors? Okay. And we can share. If it is important, then we can send the pattern using various apps. Whether it can be health sensor, it can be agriculture sensor. So everything is through this sensor mobile cloud application. So actually we are providing 3 services through this cloud called software as a service, platform as a service, and infrastructure as a service. Software as a service, everyone knows, is called mobile apps. You can go to Play Store, we can download the software, it is known as SaaS. The SaaS are nothing but mobile apps. Infrastructure means your cloud servers, and the platform means it can be Windows or Mac or any kinds of applications or other application software or system software. Okay. So if you see the sensing architecture, so first there is a sensing device, there is access point, there is a phone sensors that will import the data to whom? To the local sensing capability and to the remote sensing capability. Local means around you. If you are in your room, you can sense the room temperature, room humidity. Remote means to your friend, you can understand what kind of sensor in his room. So infrastructure communication. So cloud sensing is doing certain applications where the middlewares are involved. I'll be discussing these things. We are basically allocating the task, whether it's a local sensing or remote sensing. Remote sensing is very important so that we can understand the road condition or road blockage or any other applications. So basically, I already have mentioned that mobile cloud sensing means integration of sensors that is used to gather the materialistic or not materialistic information, people who use their sensors, and obviously their global participation. Global participation means everyone today, see, I'm not in front of you. I'm at Dom in my house. I don't know where you are. You are at your home or your institute. So we are participating together using a common platform called Google Meet. So this is also one kind of cloud sensing. We are doing this meeting, we are sharing our knowledge. So we are capturing this mobile data and mobile through this Google Meet app. So this is also one kind of sensing, right? And sensing has 2 types basically. what is called opportunistic sensing. Other one is known as participatory sensing. Opportunistic sensing means, say you are on the road, you see an accident, you take the picture and post it in the Facebook. This is known as opportunistic sensing. Okay. What will happen if you take the picture and post it? What will happen? The person who is passing the road, they will avoid that road. They will avoid that road. Okay. Why? Because they will see accident. So this is the advantage of opportunistic sensing. Because I'm going through the Ultadanga area, I took the picture and posted it. So this is known as opportunistic sensing. Participatory sensing means, say today's meeting, it is a participatory, right? Dr. Obhijit, he has announced that today there will be some lecture. We'll be discussing on certain topic. And that is the reason you are all present. We are all 44-50% are present. And we can see we are exchanging or sharing our own ideas. This is nothing but participatory sensing. Something is pre-announced and we are doing this activity and actively involved. Okay. This is called participatory sensing. Okay. So sensing or crowd sensing is two types: opportunistic and participatory. So participatory sensing means user will collect the data, they will participate when, where, and collect the sample and avoid the context. You know, this is the, by this way they will filter the data. Opportunistic means I already mentioned, randomly everyone is moving, random sample collection. This is participatory means is a planned data collection. And opportunistic means random data collection. Ultimately, if you want, we can filter the data. Ultimately, the data will be filtered. Your privacy. Privacy is one of the very important factors. You know that many people do not want to share your privacy. Okay, that is a problem of the sensing, because that will disclose who has uploaded it, who is the culprit. You know, if something legal issue happen. So generally in crowd sensing, the original data has been, you know, that there are various techniques are there to hide the person who has contributed first. That way we can stop the blaming each other, right? So this is the two way of sensing, participatory and opportunistic. Ultimately, all the data will be collected. It's just like a newspaper company or Starter Nandu. You know, we are participatory or opportunistic. Ultimately, all the data is going to Shumon. Shumon means the editor. He will select which one to publish, which one not to publish, which is against the government, which is for the government. You know, ultimately, they will decide to publish or not to publish. Because, you know, we do not disclose many data. For example, China do not disclose how many of the soldiers have killed. Although India mentioned 20 people were killed in Galwan. But China, 50 people killed, but they have not disclosed. Based on that discloses that 50 people may have died. Through this picture, it disclosed, right? So this is to hide or not to hide. Nowadays, because of the satellite images, they are very difficult to hide the data. So everyone is sensed. All the spy camera is sensing yourself, you know. You know that another very important thing I just want to mention to you, that when you are talking about the data, your plan, say you are purchasing, say, Jio phone, how much you pay? I don't know, maybe 200 rupees per month or 300 rupees per month. But actual cost is much more. Maybe it is 500 rupees. Actually, this company is all the companies. Whether it's Jio or Vodafone or Airtel or any other company, they are selling your data to Google or to Facebook. So your data is sold and they are earning maybe 1,000 rupees from you per month. So data is costly. Data is money. So they are sensing your activity. They're sensing your movement. They're sensing your behavior, which suite you want to buy, or you are purchasing something from Amazon or Flipkart or say Big Basket. So by this way, you have been, every individuals are sensed. So mobile crowd sensing is through that we are already tracked by the third party through our service provider. This is a shame, but unfortunately it's true. We are all disclosing our data. That is the reason this Google is banned in China. If you know that Google Gmail is banned in China, because China do not want that America will control it. But China is controlling us. China is controlling whole world through the various apps like, all the apps are banned few months before. TikTok or something like that. They are basically capturing our data. They are giving us a game as an incentive model, but they are capturing our activities. That is very, very dangerous. So mobile crowd sensing is a phenomena by the way individual or community is tracked. Individual means you or your family or everyone, every individual. 130 crore Indians, those who are using mobile phones, right? I think most of us are using these smartphones. Most of us, not everyone. Maybe 100 crore people are using it. Also, we can sense the community. By the community, we can see the pollution level. We can see the real-time traffic monitoring. Okay, just like Google, they use Google Traffic. They use the real-time traffic monitoring, everything through this, or pollution monitoring in the city using this community monitoring. Individuals, we can see the individuals' movement. Today I'm moving to say Delhi or Benares. Last 5 years, if you ask Google which cities you have visited, they will show you. Because our internet is on, we are using the internet on, our GPS is on, so all our activities are gone. Some people say that who knows you better? Some people say mother. No, answer is wrong. Google knows you better. So and who is providing this data? This is all the mobile phone companies are providing your individual data, your private data to this kind of service companies. So this is the phenomena, either individual or community. So in the individual, we can see the movement pattern, transport and activities. Community, pollution. So I can see the pollution of Shambhaji area. I can measure the pollution of say Godiahat using the mobile phones of the crowd and in real-time fashion. Today it is now 4:50, right? Or 4:53. We can measure what is the real-time pollution or real-time noise at Godiahat. If I ask it, they will get the answer. There are various websites are available which will give you this kind of information, real-time information of pollution, noise, and all these things. How much traffic is you're moving, whether it's 10,000 or 5,000. So this can be also tracked. So I think this is a very, very important activities. So by this way, we can measure the environment, we can measure the infrastructure, we can see the social information. Environment means I have mentioned the natural environment. Infrastructure means public infrastructure, means say road condition is good or bad, that can be also measured. Which road of Calcutta is broken, that can be also measured by the vibration of your mobile phone. Okay, either it is individual or by a group. So these are the various very, very important application. So this is this topic what I have chosen today, mobile crowdsensing. We are all part of it. Everyone, either knowing or without knowing it, we are all contributing to the mobile crowd sensing. Okay, everyone is crowd, and everyone having mobile phones, smartphones. We are giving this data for our social applications. What is the advantage? Kolkata municipality will know which roads are broken. They will repair those kind of things, right? Which environment has pollution. Everything can be tracked. Okay. I think these are the various applications. So I'm just skipping it because we don't have time. But basically, it is one kind of IoT. It is everywhere because people are everywhere, right? Almost everywhere we are spread around the world. We can capture the data around the world. So mobile to mobile connectivity, device to device connectivity, location connectivity, applications, services, buildings, energy, consumer, healthcare, industry, transport, retail, security. So everything is connected. So using this mobile crowd sensing capability, okay. This is a big topic. It's not possible in 1 hour, but just I want to give you some basic idea out of it. So what are the challenges? Those who want to PhD or any research topic, some of the challenges are localized analytics, local data it can be handled, resource limitations, privacy. I've told you privacy is very important. Otherwise, what will happen? Where you are moving, your parents can also track it, or your enemy can track it. That is a very dangerous thing. Aggregation means how the mobile phone is aggregating. Say this is the basically electronics part. You know, we are from electronics department is holding this this event today. Aggregation, sensor aggregation. So it's called multi-sensor fusion. There's a 64 sensor. Maybe 10 sensors are active. Sensor will aggregate and ultimately give some meaningful data. So sensor and aggregation is very, very important factor, a rather challenging issue. There is a one journal called Information Fusion, very important journal in Elsevier. How the information is fused. Not only information is captured, we have to fuse the information. We have to extract the valuable information from the aggregation model. So this is very interesting research challenge. And actually, 2 of my students is doing PhD on this aggregation analytics, okay, data analytics part, and one of them was working on the privacy. It's called privacy preserving blockchain-based technology, which is used for real-time applications. Lot of electronics is involved in these research challenges. So I'm just keeping these things, all these things. So I just want to mention, you know, everyone know this very famous dialogue of that movie. What is that movie? Chennai Express, right? Do not underestimate the power of common man, right? I think SRK has mentioned that do not underestimate the power of common man. I just added this term, if the mobile phone is in their hand, because your mobile phone is very much powerful, which can handle large data, which can do anything. And most important is much more powerful, not only for you, and it's powerful for the companies like Google. Google is selling your data and giving you your internet at very low, affordable cost. So this is a very important term. I believe that I just try to give some basic idea how this mobile crowd sensing is actually happening. So there are 2 books are available. This is from CRC Press. This is my book. I've written 4-6 years before. Mobile cloud computing. Actually, how you can see the picture where the mobile phone, all the apps data is basically connected to the cloud, and cloud is taking a decision or making a meaningful application. So lots of electronics sensors are there in the device, and after sensing, they are sending the data to the cloud using these various apps like Big Basket, Amazon, what's your the famous, all the apps like WhatsApp. So ultimately, all the data is captured. So mobile cloud is very, very important. And this is the second part. After all the data is going to the cloud, we are getting certain information which is useful for pollution monitoring, environmental monitoring. So you can see the mobile phone in the hand, can you see? And this picture of the crowd. And everyone is contributing to get this information. So if you are interested, these 2 books are available, and you will get some information. And you can also mail me if you want more detailed information about the published papers and everything. I think, thank you very much. I've finished. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Professor Day. Am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Thank you very much for the illuminating talk. Now we move over to the interactive session. We have a few questions in the chat box, which I'm going to read out loud, and you answer them one after another. The first one is from Shubdev Paul from Shunnath Evening College. Is it possible to implement I'm getting a feedback. Is it possible to implement cloud sensing technology to track the actual location of my product using the mobile number of the delivery boy? Product was ordered through e-commerce portal, which is out for delivery.
Answer is yes. Similar to your Ola Uber app, that can be also tracked. Even some of the companies, they are also, say Jio Mart, they are also planning to give this real-time monitoring app. Yeah, everything, location can be precisely measured. Your delivery mobile phone, that can be shared with you and it can be measured. Yes, answer is yes, possible.
Okay, the next question is from Devashish Shingro. By which processes can we measure sensor or the sensing device? I'm not sure about the question. By which processes?
Okay, I'm just telling you that basically there are hundreds of sensors nowadays in your mobile phone. If you see if you're purchasing a mobile phone in this year 2020, you will see the number of sensors are increased from say 30 to 100, maybe 64, 65. So they capture the data. There is something is called sensor hub that will decide, that will process the data, and ultimately the sensor hub will give you some meaningful information. Sensor hub is playing a major role in the process integration or sensing data integration. Actually, sensors are various kinds of pressure sensor, light sensor, and that basically through the transducer. So that is the reason the electronics people, the instrumentation, especially electronics instrumentation, is very, very important. Okay, so the IoT people, they are all IoT, Internet of Things. So they are using this kind of sensing capabilities. Yes.
Okay, fine. The next question is from Shondit Sharkar of Srinath Evening College. In case of crowd sensing, there are loads of data in the cloud. How can we selectively get the required data instantly? If you please enlighten us how big data analysis is working on us.
Yeah, I think if you are interested, like if you can you see this book? I don't know whether you can see it or not. This one is visible?
Yeah, mobile cloud computing.
Yeah, this is a mobile cloud sensing, mobile cloud computing. If you see this book is freely available in on internet, is available. Okay, so if you see this book, you have given one chapter that after getting the data from the mobile, they store the data in the cloud. There is some, it's called broker. You know broker, Bangla jetaকে dalal bole. The broker will, there is a broker in every area. Say Shambazar, Showbazar, Domdom. If you want to purchase a house in Domdom, you have to go to the broker of Domdom only. You ask certain question, that broker will give the answer. Similarly, the cloud or mobile cloud has a broker. It's called cloud brokerage, right? You have to give the brokerage. You have to pay say 10 pies, they will give the answer. Nothing is free, mind it. It is paid based, right? You're using internet, that is not free. It is paid, right? So you have to pay something to the broker, cloud broker. The cloud broker will give the answer. Okay.
Okay. The next question is from Ashok Chatterjee. Sir, as we know, from October 1, 2020, Facebook is to block content causing it harm. Now, my question is how Facebook is justifying the content that can cause the company legal and regulatory harm.
Yeah, you are asking a basically very, that conflicting question, because this companies like Facebook or the WhatsApp or many other, LinkedIn, they all steal our data. I told you that these companies like Jio is become rich, not you by your money. They are became rich by your data only. Because Ramkrishna Dev mentioned that data, he has mentioned that taka mati taka. From nowadays, the data is costly. Your data, your personal information is costly. All the personal data is leaked. Government is not, at least Indian government is not interested to save our data. If you go to China, China, they don't allow their common people data to go outside to the Google or Facebook. Facebook is banned in China. Google is banned in China. But in India, we are ready to sacrifice our data. We are ready to sacrifice our own information. So that is the reason we are paying very low cost mobile phone connectivity, but we are sacrificing our own data, right? We are giving all the data to the Google or Geo and everything, right? So that is the biggest challenge.
Okay, the next question is from somebody who calls himself or herself Day Night. How is it possible to store millions of gigabytes of data in cloud every day due to limited storage?
Yeah, there is one technology called Hadoop. It's called data deduplication. Data deduplication means they don't store the same thing twice. They compress the data using the technique called data deduplication. So this technique is known as dedupe. So Facebook are using for last 20 years. So these companies are using more than 20 years this kind of technology. They compress your data. So it is one kind of compression technologies, right? And if you see the village of server, there is storing in the village. It's called Google Village. Even in Bangalore also there is some villages there. But their full village is stored with servers, right? Huge data is there. That's why big data technology is one of the very, very interesting and challenging research area. But dedupe is the technology for this purpose.
Okay, another question from Shubdev Paul. This is in continuation to its previous question. In which process I can implement cloud sensing for the betterment of e-commerce portal?
E-commerce portal.
Yeah, in which process can I implement cloud sensing for the betterment of e-commerce portal?
Yeah, you can, that you can use a mobile. I've already mentioned participatory and opportunistic. If you someone to participate, say you are searching from the shoe, then in your Facebook, the shoe advertisement will come. So this is nothing but sensing, because you have searched it. That's why they are giving you the advertisement of shoe only, not all the advertisements. So e-commerce sites are using it extensively for long years. Actually, they are taking the data from these companies like Geo. I told you, the Geo become rich not from Indian money, means Indian not common people. They're taking the money from Google and all the e-commerce site like Amazon, and they're giving millions of dollars to this Geo company to sell the data. That is very important. And if it is 1:3, means 3 times they are getting money from the other companies like Facebook or Amazon or Flipkart. Okay, so e-commerce is extensively used. Yes.
Okay, finally, I have a question. Do sensors used in mobile crowd sensing have limits to their functioning at very high speeds, like when we are moving on a train or on a car, high-speed car?
Yeah, the answer is, that we are in the verge of implementation of 5G, 6G technology, right? 5G is technology. 5G is coming up with high-speed train. Even Japan, they have implemented 5G network. Japan, and this 5G technology is capable enough to handle large high-speed data at very high-speed train. So that has been tested, and fortunately, it will be installed in our Rajdhani Express also. Okay, there was some contract with China. One company was installing in Calcutta. Company name is Huawei. I think everyone knows Huawei. Honor phone is from Huawei. So this company is using this, is about to install, but due to the fighting between India and China, all the process are stopped. So, but still, the 5G is the technology which is capable enough to handle these high-speed train activities. High-speed train, high-speed car will be getting this crowd sensing technologies. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
I have a question.
Yes, madam.
I have not downloaded any medical app in my mobile phone, but while using other apps, it shows my blood pressure and pulse. Why? How it is possible?
Madam, it may be possible that some of your close relative has searched this kind of thing. Maybe that is the reason they have recommended you. Say,
Oh.
I'm just asking, my brother is searching some medicine for anyone, but I am myself, my brother and my mother, same family. They know the relation, and that is the reason they recommend.
Oh.
Okay, that is the reason.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Does
So
anybody else have any? Oh, you have to. Okay.
You know, madam, this technique is, I'm just telling you, this is called, this is a statistical technique, is called hybrid matrix factorization. We use this technique. It's called hybrid. Hybrid means you, your brother, your family become a group.
Okay.
Cluster is a clustering technique, and accordingly you have been recommended. Basically, it's a recommendation system. So it is it's called, this kind of recommendation is known as group recommendation. Okay. If you're purchasing of your own, this is called single individual recommendation. And if you now what you're getting is called group recommendation. Okay. Thank you.
Does anybody else have any more questions, please? I think I have another question. Shayan Ghosh asks, sir, can we use cloud computing to track record of the power readings of home? Am I clear with my question?
Power grid at home for cloud computing.
Power readings at home.
Yes, actually, wait a minute. Just you have asked a very interesting question, and you'll be happy to know that I am also involved in a project with CESC, Calcutta CESC. You know that during the lockdown period, there is a lot of things happened with CESC. Everyone know that, right? That they have given wrong bill. After they are charging a high bill, right? So if you go to, I'm just giving example of South Africa. After 1 month, they are sending a SMS. What is the meter reading? Unfortunately, in India, everyone have to come to your house and take the reading and go back home. This is a very primitive and old-fashioned method, just to save the job of the meter reading people. Otherwise, this technology is available. Even Calcutta University and everyone, I can give you one name, Professor Jiten Beda of Applied Physics Department of Calcutta University. They have already installed, and that will be installed in CSC in few days, maybe few months. Then the people will not come to you for manual reading. It will be automated reading. So cloud computing will be used for this kind of automated reading. Many advanced countries, they are all doing automated reading. Okay. And this reading will come to the CSC or as well as to you in SMS format. Only one GSM module will be installed there. That's it. So this is possible using this mobile cloud computing technology. So you have asked a very relevant question. So during this pandemic, the reading is not possible. That's why they send the wrong bill. A lot of fighting happens. A lot of bad things happen. But this is basically we are not using this online facility. So this is very much possible, and many other advanced countries are using for long years, say maybe 5 to 10 years before they are started. Okay, hopefully Calcutta will start very soon. It's a very, very important question.
Okay, Dr. Day, I don't find any more questions on the chat box. Does anybody else have a question for Dr. Day? If not, I think we have come to the conclusion of the first part of our webinar. Thank you, Professor Day, for the illuminating talk, which was very contemporary and interesting. If you allow, I can share your email address with all the participants.
Yes, no problem. It is only, it will be only possible, that this webinar will be successful if we can interact, we can have a good relation. Okay. Otherwise, it's meaningless. Because everyone can contribute, then only our society will survive. Otherwise, not. Thank you very much.
Okay, so let's thank Professor Day.
Okay.
And now, may I introduce you all to our second speaker, Dr. Shantanu Saha, who has joined all the way from Ohio State University, OSU, USA. Let me introduce Shantanu Shah briefly. Dr. Shantanu Shah is a postdoctoral researcher in the Optics and Photonics Research Lab, OPREL, Ohio State University, USA. Before that, he did his PhD from IIT Bombay, MTech from Rajabaja Science College, and BSc in Electronics Honors from our college, way back in 2007, if my memory serves me right. Dr. Shah will be speaking on his research pursuits in quantum photonics, the science of generating, manipulating, and detecting light in regimes where it is possible to coherently control individual quanta of light or photons. He will also share his experiences at the OPREL Research Lab at Ohio State University, USA, and discuss research opportunities for aspiring students. So over to you, Dr. Shantanu Shah.
Thank you, Professor Poddar. And at this outset, I just would like to thank our honorable teacher in charge, Professor Shukti Shah Roy, our head of the department, Professor Abhijit Poddar, and governing body of Surendranath Evening College for giving me this opportunity and this platform to share my research idea and experiences, whatever I have, I've been going through for the last 8 years in IIT Bombay and at present at Ohio State University. So a big thank you to all of you. So let me just start my presentation. I just would like to make sure that my screen is visible at this moment.
Yeah, your screen is visible, but you need to use the full screen option.
Yeah, I've already done it.
Oh, I think it's okay now.
Okay, so the topic of my research is research in a cutting edge photonics lab. As Professor Poddar has already mentioned that right now I'm working in quantum photonics area. This is a very vast area, and working this research in a particular research lab is not possible. You need to collaborate and you need to tie up with several research institutes, what we have already doing. And the most important thing is it's not only in US, we are also collaborating with some research institutes in India. And gradually I'll show each and everything to you. So I have started my journey from Surendranath Evening College, as Professor Poddar has already mentioned. So I was a graduate student in this college from 2004 to 2007, where the foundation was laid by the faculties of electronics department as well as physics and computer science department. After completing my BSc from this college, I joined in radio physics and electronics department, where I completed my BTech and MTech. And I spent 5 wonderful years here from 2007 to 2012. After completing my BTech and MTech, I joined an IIT Bombay, where I have worked mostly in the area of oxide semiconductor, to be more precise, zinc oxide and zinc magnesium oxide materials, which are large bandgap materials. And the most important applications of this material, what we are looking for, DUV or deep ultraviolet, or in optoelectronics area. So after completing my PhD, I have joined Ohio State University in 2019, and still I'm working in this wonderful university. As I mentioned, that my research domain has now been changed from oxide semiconductor to nitride semiconductor. And at present, I'm working in hexagonal boron nitride, cubical boron nitride, and as well as gallium nitride, indium gallium nitride. We're also looking not only for thin film, but also looking for nitride-based, quantum dot and nanowire also. So I just would like to give you some flavor of IIT Bombay, whatever I have, I've been through this institute. So this is the classroom of the IIT Bombay, where we used to, sit for our class from 8:30 in the morning to evening 9 or 10 in the night. So this is the aerial view of the IIT Bombay, taken from Samir Hill. And I think many of you know what SAMIR is actually, Society of Applied Microwave Engineering and Electronics Research Lab. There are several branches of SAMIR lab, across India. This is a government-funded R&D lab, and this aerial view has been captured from SAMIR. And the branch of Mumbai is actually in the campus of IIT Bombay. In Kolkata, there is also another branch. I think it's probably in the Rajabajar area. And this is the green campus of IIT Bombay. I think this is one of the most beautiful campus I have ever seen in my whole life. Maybe IIT KGP or IIT Madras would be more beautiful, but definitely I'll be biased towards Bombay because I have spent 4 wonderful years here. And this is the beautiful Powai Lake and adjacent area of the IIT Bombay, which you can see. And every picture has actually been taken from the campus inside. And this is our hostel where we spend our wonderful 4 years. And the cone area, whatever you are actually observing right now, this is nothing but the rooftop of the underground canteen, where at a time more than 1,000 students can sit and have their meal 4 times in a day. And the fest of IIT Bombay is a huge. This is the largest fest across Asia, comparing all engineering colleges. This is Mood Indigo, where celebrities from not only Bollywood but also Hollywood also visits, like Christopher Nolan, who was also the director of a movie like Dark Knight, has also visited our campus. So coming to the research lab, what I have done there. So this is a system which is known as actually CVD or hot wire CVD, chemical vapor deposition. My main motto in my research life is to grow materials, because I'm a material scientist, so I'll grow material and characterize its various characteristics like optical, electrical, and structural characteristics. So there are several instruments are available in IIT Bombay, which is actually used for growing the materials. And CVD or chemical vapor deposition is one of the major tool where we used to work. Not me, I have never worked in CVD, but this is a major tool which has been used mostly by industry nowadays, especially MOCVD. So CVD has various classifications like APCVD, which is atmospheric pressure CVD, LPCVD, low pressure CVD, and the most important CVD technique like MOCVD or metal organic chemical vapor deposition. This is the major tool now being used by the industry for growing materials. So apart from CVD, so this is another technique which is known as the rapid thermal annealing. And what is annealing? Annealing is nothing but hitting the material after you grow the materials, because when you grow materials, even if it is ultra high vacuum, there's a high possibility that some kind of defects are there. So to remove the defects, annealing is a good technique. And to anneal the samples or to heat the samples, you need to be very careful about your recipe. Now, what kind of recipe I'm talking about? Recipes like what's the temperature you are looking for to anneal your samples. So for rapid thermal annealing, this is something like I think the maximum temperature which is allowed in IIT Bombay is like 1100 degrees centigrade, and even in OSU they are not allowing us to go beyond 1200 degrees centigrade. So that is some kind of disadvantage if you use rapid thermal annealing. So the temperature is a big constraint here. And why it is called rapid? Because the temperature goes up very fast. So that's also a big advantage. So temperature is a constraint for rapid thermal annealing, while you could get it very fast. That is a big advantage. And another thing, as I mentioned, like temperature and the duration are 2 most important parameters. And apart from that, what kind of environment you are looking to anneal your samples? Are you looking for gaseous environment? It could be like nitrogen, it could be oxygen, it could be inert gas like argon, and it could be even mixture of nitrogen and ammonia. So you have to be very careful, because depending on the criteria, you have to choose your recipe to anneal your samples. And this is a clean room. So I think very few institutes in India have this facility. Apart from IIT Bombay, I think IIT Bangalore has this facility, and maybe certain other IITs like IIT Kharagpur is there, and IIT I think Kanpur. But I'm not sure about all other institutes where this kind of facilities are actually available, because the government has invested almost close to 100 crore to build this facility. Now, what is this clean room? Now, all of you are quite aware about the definition of what is clean. Clean means like, almost dust-free. So whatever materials we actually grow, so we have to be very careful. There should not be any kind of contamination. Contamination is like, say, when we sweat, the body is a big source of contamination. So what kind of dresses you are actually watching right now, this kind of dresses are actually strictly used to avoid any kind of contamination, because sweat is nothing but the composition of sodium. So one drop of sweat or one drop of your sodium can spoil the whole sample. So these kind of dresses are strictly actually imposed by the rules and regulations by the authority. And if you violate this rule, you may be suspended for a week or maybe for a month. So what is clean rooms? Clean rooms, like you are using certain kind of filters in your room. What kind of filters? Like HEPA filter is actually used, or maybe some other kind of filters are there, which will actually absorb all kinds of dust particles. So, and clean rooms are also classified according to number and size of particles permitted per volume of air. So there are several types of clean room. You can see there are classes 100, classes 1000, and based on their class, there are actually the size of the particles, whether it is a 0.5 micron or beyond that has been specified. So clean room is a major tool whenever you are working with the growth of any material. So that is something you need to be very careful. And the dress. So these are some of the clean rooms. These all are pictures of IIT Bombay, whatever I'm doing right now. This kind of facility is very, very important while you are doing, experimental research work in your institute. Without this would be impossible for at least growth of material. Other characterizations like optical, structural, or electrical could be possible outside of clean room. But while you are growing the material, you need to be very careful whether you're using clean room or not. Based on that, that will actually decide your quality of the material. So this is one of the I would say the sophisticated tool for growing your materials, which is actually molecular beam epitaxy. This is extremely expensive, and very few institutes, I think 2 or 3 again, in India, you can find this molecular beam epitaxy. This is so costly that even people treat it as $1 million evaporator. And you could get a very, very high, vacuum like 10 to the power minus 10 torr, which is not even possible in MOCVD, what I mentioned, although mostly used by the industry. But the purity and how do you make it contamination free? This kind of criteria, if you are thinking in your mind, then you should go for MBE. This is very sophisticated technology, and we are actually using this tool for growing our material. So during my PhD, I have mostly used this sputtering. Sputtering is a technique where you are actually bombarding the ions of the plasma ions with the your target. Target is like the material, whatever you are going to deposit on top of your substrate. So by creating these plasma ions, you are continuously bombarding these 2 ions, like one ion from plasma, another ion from the material, what you are going to deposit. And finally, that will be deposited on top of the substrate. But this is a very, economical system why people are using this kind of technology. And another important thing is like, you could have, large size of substrate, because several instruments are there where the size of the substrates are very, very, constrained. You could not go for, like, say, more than 1 inch or 2 inch. I think 2 inch is quite big. I'm sorry, like say 1 inch. But in sputtering, you could even go for 4 inch. That sputtering, whatever I have used. So that's a big advantage. You just put some 4 inch or 2 inch substrate, and you could go for your run on of the material. So this is another kind of sputtering, which is Orion sputtering. The difference between these 2 types of sputtering, like RF sputtering and Orion sputtering, is like in RF sputtering, if you just go back to this RF sputtering, you could hardly control the growth of the material. That is very, very difficult. So roughness of the sample would be extremely high. But in case of Orion sputtering, you could easily control the growth of the material. You could even expect uniform thickness. But again, comparing MBE with sputtering, that is something, is not at all possible while, thinking about the quality or the uniformity of the material. But still, Orient sputtering is, I would say, way ahead than art sputtering. So this is another technique what I also used during my PhD. This is pulse laser deposition. As I mentioned that in RF sputtering, you're using some kind of plasma which is actually being injected by the argon ions. But in case of pulse laser deposition, you are using some laser to ablate the target so that it can be deposited on top of the substrate. So the basic difference you can see, one is using plasma, another is using laser. And this is, as I mentioned, that once you grow the materials, you need to anneal the system. And this is another annealing system which is also available in IIT Bombay, that is furnace annealing. Now, I have already described about rapid thermal annealing, and this is furnace annealing. So what's the difference between the furnace annealing and rapid thermal annealing? In rapid thermal annealing, as I mentioned, the temperature is a big constraint. They won't allow you, more than 1200 degrees centigrade or say 1000 degrees centigrade. It depends on institute to institute. You have to be very careful, or you have to check the manual or ask the lab in charge what is the maximum temperature we could go for. But in case of furnace annealing, what we are using here, like we could easily go up to 1700 or even 1800 degrees centigrade. And again, you need some recipe, like what kind of temperatures you are looking for. So for example, some material has some, sublimation temperature close to 1800 degrees centigrade. So obviously you need to be very careful about this temperature, because if a material has sublimation temperature close to 1800 degrees centigrade, definitely you are not going for a very high temperature close to 1700 or say 1750. So definitely you'll choose like say around 1400 or 1500. Again, you have to be very careful about the type of environment you are looking, like the gaseous environment, what you are actually looking to remove the defects from your material. And at the same time, the biggest advantage of furnace annealing, like you could go for, I'm sorry, it's not an advantage, it's actually disadvantage compared to your rapid thermal annealing. That is, you could go for like say 8 hours or 10 hours or a whole day for annealing. So it would take a lot of time compared to rapid thermal annealing. If you are using rapid thermal annealing, you could end up within, I think, within 20 or 25 minutes, including everything. But in case of furnace annealing, you have to wait maybe 24 hours or maybe more than that, depending upon the criteria you are choosing. So yeah, rapid thermal annealing is, I think I've vividly described in my previous slides. So these are the differences between the rapid thermal annealing and furnace annealing. Yeah, so after completing my PhD, I then joined OSU to pursue my postdoctoral research in 2019. So Ohio State University is very old university, and this year they are actually celebrating its 150th year anniversary. This university was established in 1870. And this is our campus. During winter, you could see lots of snow is there inside the campus. This is, I think, this is one portion of the campus. And this is the area where I actually work. Although the campus area is like, more than, I think 1700 acre, although it's quite small compared to IIT KGP. IIT KGP, I think it's 2100 acre, but this is 1700 acre still, it's huge. And this is Buckeye Life. Now, what is Buckeye? Buckeye is like when you are a part of Ohio State. So like in Bengal, whenever you are living in Bengal, you are called Bengali. In Ohio, they are called as Buckeye. And sports is like, I would say, something which is an integral part of their lives, every weekend, although now it is stopped due to the outbreak of the pandemic. But every weekend, this Ohio State, arranges lots of, events, and sports is, as I mentioned, is an integral part. And this is the stadium of our campus, actually. I mean, University Stadium of, Ohio State University. And like East Bengal Mohun Bagan in Kolkata, we are actually arch rival of Michigan. Although we actually collaborate with Michigan University, Ann Arbor. But while talking about this, soccer, American football, they actually call it as American football, although our definition of football is quite different from their definition of football. the definition of football, what we actually mean, they call it as soccer. So Michigan and Ohio State are arch rivals. And this is the union of our campus. You could see it's a huge union. The area is also very huge and very beautiful. Inside of the union, if you just see where people actually arrange party, like if you know something about USA, like there's certain kind of party every year. They throw like Thanksgiving parties, their Labor Day parties, their Christmas is of course is there. So these kind of parties are also being arranged by Ohio Union, as well as if you have to collect your iCard, that card is known as the Buckeye card, or some official purpose. Union is there. From I think 7 to 5 every business day to help you. So these are the labs in OSU. This is a very famous electronics laboratory, or this lab is known as the Dries lab. And you could see the electronics laboratory nameplate is also visible. I actually work in this lab in the basement. So whatever materials we grow, although I use in several laboratories of this university, but mostly I spend most of my time, day and night under the basement of this laboratory, which is known as the Dries lab. And you could see some connector is there, which is actually connected with the Caldwell lab, where is my office actually. And this is PRB. This is actually physics research building, where I also work for my structural characterizations of the materials like atomic force microscopy or AFM or scanning electron microscopy or ACM. And recently, just I think 3 to 4 days back, I even visited this lab for performing my photoluminescence measurements. So PRV actually hosts lots of instruments, whatever you need, you could easily visit. CBEC, this is chemistry and biomolecular engineering and chemical engineering department. You could easily identify the department because lots of hexagonal shape you can see. And I visit this lab for performing my Raman measurement. This is another, I think chemistry guys know it very well why Raman measurements are actually important for your material to identify the phonon vibration and to confirm the structural quality. You need a Raman measurement. So as I mentioned, this is a huge research, and you can't expect that only one department or one lab will have each and everything. You need to collaborate. You need to talk to people to get some idea, to exchange idea. Only then you could, you could get some success in your research. And this is OSU during winter. This is terrible, I would say. Although they use temperature in Fahrenheit, because in America they use FPS system. They don't use kilometer, they use mile. They don't use liter, they use gallon. So temperature, they're also using, Fahrenheit. So every time I have to calculate in terms of centigrade to, just check the temperature. And the temperature during winter, it could go actually say minus 25 to minus 30. Although I would say it's quite warm compared to your Minnesota and New York. New York is very close to my place, and Chicago is also very close. And this is another lab, which is nanotech waste lab, because we are working in our department, which is electrical engineering. At the same time, we also visit, as I have already shown, in PRB, CBEC for characterizing analysis, like say AFM or ACM. Apart from that, we have another big lab, which is nanotech waste lab, and this lab is like say 5 miles away from my place. I mean, from my lab where I used to work every day. So again, the clean room facility, I think I have already mentioned you. So maybe you guys are quite aware of this kind of dresses because of the pandemic, but the problem is that this kind of facility is always available in the nanotech waste lab, and you have to be very careful because this is mandatory while you are visiting this nanotech waste lab. I mean, any clean room. And this is the MB facility. I have already shown you one slide of IIT Bombay where we have used MB. I think there are only 2 MB facilities like molecular beam epitaxy. But in OSU, we are having, I think, 5 to 6 MB facility. And whatever materials you're looking for, you just ask us. And every kinds of materials growth facility like If you're looking for, gallium arsenide based growth equipments in MB, this is also available. I'm working in nitride based materials, MB. So different MBs are there for growing different types of materials. I'm working on gallium nitride and hexagonal boron nitride. So this kind of facilities available. If you're thinking about 2D materials like say gallium selenide, this is also available. If you're thinking like say for oxide semiconductor, so oxide semiconductor based MBE is also available. So you just name it and we have all these resources. And I think this is the biggest plus point with working with OSU, because in terms of resources, they are highly rich. And I'm actually working with this instrument, this MBE, where I work with boron nitride, hexagonal boron nitride, and also work with gallium nitride based materials. So as I mentioned, that once you grow the materials and after performing your annealing, you need to go for surface characterizations like atomic force microscopy, and you can see this is the instrument is available where we actually perform this atomic force microscopy. I think two images are there for AFM, but the purpose is same. And while you perform your AFM measurement, you could see this kind of images, which will give you some basic idea about the sample quality, like what is the thickness, you could easily measure it. What is the roughness, this RMS value, this is a random picture taken from internet. This is not my image. This is the RMS value, like root mean square value of the roughness of the sample. So you could easily see if you just compare these four figures at the top and at the bottom, you have figure C, which is showing like RMS value is 1.1 nanometer. So definitely the quality of the sample is way better compared to other samples, because lower the roughness, definitely the quality of the sample would be better. So you have to be careful while controlling the instrument so that you could get lower roughness. Again, it depends on the criteria, on the parameter you are using for your material growth. That is the most major, I would say, parameter. You have to be very careful while growing your materials. Then you can measure the quality of the sample, and one of the major tools is like AFM. And this is photoluminescence setup. We have actually working with right now with Professor Roberto Myers of the Material Science Department, where I'm visiting every day for photoluminescence setup. You could see several mirrors, filters, and lasers are there actually. These are some of the snaps, and I think if you're an undergrad of electronics or electrical or physics, you are quite familiar with photoluminescence, the basic definition, like capturing the photon. See, you could see this from this computer. So we actually use right now we are using different types of laser. In Professor Roberto Myers' lab, we are using lasers like, say, this is 2 photon excitations where we are using like laser with the wavelength like 400 nanometer. And in the lab of Professor Ronald Kawakami, we are using some laser wavelength around 532 nanometer. It depends on the defect level in your material, what kind of defect level you would like to excite, and based on that you have to choose your wavelength, because the relation between the band gap energy. I'm strictly talking about like right now talking about undergrad or technical students of in institutes who are quite familiar with photoluminescence. So these are some of the very sophisticated lab we are using here. So X-ray diffraction is another thing. After growing the materials, again, you'd like to go for the structural quality. And any structure of a material could be like crystalline, a polycrystalline, or amorphous. So if you get just one single peak and very high and dominant peak with a narrow line width, that is called a single crystalline. If you're getting multiple peaks, that is called polycrystalline. And if you get nothing like no peak is actually if it is not observable, then that is called amorphous. Amorphous means atoms are not arranged in a periodic or fashionable way, while a single crystalline means atoms are arranged in a periodic and long range of atoms are there in a periodic and fashionable way. That is what is called single crystalline. But everyone is looking, it is not like that everyone is looking for single crystalline. It depends on their motive of research. Some people are also happy with their polycrystalline nature of the material. So scanning electron microscopy, as I've already shown you the images of the instruments, what is scanning electron microscopy. So if you just perform this measurement, you could see this kind of grains, like the size of the grains and how the grains are arranged. So you could easily see. Again, this is some random images taken from the internet. It's not my image. I'll show my image later with the slides. And this is the measurement instrument of the scanning electron microscopy, which we use for measuring this SEM. Now let us start with my topic, like what I'm doing. So in introduction, you could see the topic at present, I'm working with quantum photonics. My main motive is to grow the materials and to ensure whether this material is absolutely okay for quantum application. Like, what is quantum application? So quantum application could be used for quantum sensing, quantum internet, quantum information science, and quantum computer is also there. So you have to be, very careful before ensuring whether this material is quite good for going quantum information science or quantum computing. So applications there are lots of applications out there, and we are actually working to provide you the best material. And this is, as I mentioned, this is a huge effort is actually needed to finally realize this kind of material. Whatever this picture you are actually watching right now, this is not the job of only one specific group. Interdisciplinary work is needed to accomplish this kind of task. You need the help of electrical engineer. You need the help of material scientists. You need the help of computer engineers. But we are just working, I would say, we are just contributing very small part. And to finally realize it, you need to work with so many people to finally get this kind of structure. And this is IBM's 53-bit quantum computer. The one quick question can come in your mind that what is this quantum computer? So if you're quite familiar with the classical computer, the bit is actually the binary bit, whatever you are using in classical computer. Right now I'm sitting in front of my Dell laptop. This is also a classical computer. And binary bit, like, either 0 or 1. So if you just ask me what's the basic difference between this qubit and binary bit, because quantum computer does not use this binary bit, it uses qubit. So what is qubit? Like, if you think about this bit, qubit is like, say if you are spinning a coin, so either it will be 0, head or tail. So that is what is called binary. Probability is either 0 or 1. So a spinning coin is actually qubit. So simultaneously you're having both 0 and 1. So just think about the processor speed if it is finally realized. Although IBM has already shown a 53-bit quantum computer, but you have to keep in your mind, until and unless you are capable to use to operate any system in the room temperature, then this kind of system would be way costly. Right now, you are sitting in front of your mobile, classical computer. If you're sitting in front of your classical computer, you can easily use it in room temperature. But if you just go back, say, a few decades back, the size and the cost of the classical computers were extremely high. But nowadays, because of scaling down, the size and the cost is also getting reduced. So this is cryostat in Google's lab. What is the purpose of cryostat? As I mentioned, the computer, whatever you are watching right now, just before this slide, to operate this computer, you have to be, you need to use very low temperature. So cryostat is actually that kind of instruments which will provide you a low temperature. Now, what kind of temperature? Like cryogenic temperature, it's around 4 Kelvin. And our room temperature is like 300 Kelvin. 27 degrees centigrade, if you roughly estimate. So 300 Kelvin, and this is operating in 4 Kelvin, something like that. So for as I mentioned that we are working with so many people across in the USA and India. So in USA, we are working with definitely OSU Department of Physics. and Department of Material Science is also there. We are also working with AFRL, that is Air Force Research Lab. AFRL is actually in a city, Dayton, and we are also living in the same state, that is Ohio. And University of Michigan, Ann Arbor is actually taking care of the growth of the nanoware. We are collaborating with them, and Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute is also there, who are working with us, and they are in the city of New York. Our research lab is taking care for the theoretical investigations, because theoretical investigations, some kind of simulations and the DFT calculations are indeed helpful to just prove your concept and obviously to get some good publications. So Naval Research Lab is there. We are also collaborating with Oklahoma University, which is in the city of Oklahoma, and Sandia National Lab. This is the lab with whom we are actually interacting almost every day. And finally, the great institute, I think many of you know it, UCSB, University of California, Santa Barbara in the Western Coast. So these all our collaborators with whom we are working day and night to accomplish our task. Again, I'm also working with some institutes in India. One is my alma mater, IIT Bombay, and another is Jain CSR in Bengaluru. So why 2D materials? My material, like hexagonal boron nitride, is actually a 2D material. So 2D materials is very important nowadays for getting applications in the quantum photonics domain. And the major advantage of 2D material is like when you are thinking about silicon, it's a 3D material. And the covalent bond is actually the bond which actually controls the 3D material. But in case of 2D materials, we have actually van der Waals bond actually, which and another difference is like the in-plane bonding strength of this 2D material is very weak compared to the outer plane. So you don't have to be very much careful about the lattice mismatch. So when you're growing some material on top of a substrate, say for it is 3D material, suppose you are growing cubical boron nitride and you are using silicon, the lattice mismatch could lead up to 50%. So that is huge. That's why people are using diamond substrate, which is the lattice mismatch between the substrate and the film is like 1.6 or 5%. So lower the lattice mismatch of your film and substrate, the better the quality you could expect actually. And this is the polymorphism of boron nitride. You could see we have woodsite, zinc blend, hexagonal, cubical, and turbostratic. So HBN is like hexagonal boron nitride. ZB is like zinc blend. WZ is a boron nitride, aluminum nitride, gallium nitride is there. So different kinds of polymorphism have been shown here through this diagram. And what are the applications of this boron nitride? We are already, this is a two-dimensional devices. So obviously you could expect some kind of quantum applications. Apart from that, you could expect, this is an ultra wide band gap. The band gap is like say 6 electron volt. In some literatures, you could even see this is close to like 5.9 and 5.95. And the most important applications for which we are working right now, this is single photon emission. That is, only one photon will be emitted from your material. So this is my work, whatever I have done so far in OSU. You could see this is the schematic diagram of my material where I have grown this HBN on the sapphire substrate. And technology, whatever have been used by the Sandia National Lab, that is MOCVD, that is metal organic chemical vapor deposition. And the growth temperature was around 1500 degrees centigrade. And we have done the XRD. As I mentioned that after performing some growth, you need to be very careful about the structural quality. All of the structural quality seems quite broad line which you could expect, you could see. But again, we got some single crystalline quality, so which is good, I would say. And no nitridation effect is also there because we didn't find any kind of aluminum nitride peak in our XRD diagram. So for surface morphology, we have used scanning electron microscope, and lots of wrinkles are found here, as you can see in figure A, and some hillocks are there. Wrinkles can form because of the thermal expansion mismatch because of the substrate as well as your film. And this is the AFM. AFM images show you how the wrinkles are there. Lots of wrinkles and hillocks are there. And the scanning range of the AFM is around 1 micron. So what is our plan for our future work? We are actually thinking something different, which has not yet been implemented by the community, because when you are doing research, whatever community has already contributed, you are doing the same thing, then frankly speaking, you'll be nowhere. You may publish some paper, but the quality of the paper won't be so good and it won't help you to reach a certain height. So always you have to think out of the box, which has not yet been implemented by the community, so that you could beat current state of the art. So we are thinking about creating some artificial vacuum. So people are growing materials and they're getting some defects, and based on the defects, they are actually claiming some kind of quantum emission by doing some measurements like Hanbury-Brown twist interferometer or G2 measurements. But we are actually thinking about some deterministic placement of QPDs like quantum point defects. So all this requires a nanoscale precision. So you could see initially you have to grow a material, then you have to adsorb some foreign atoms, and then again you need to encapsulate those foreign atoms by another layer of a hexagonal boron nitride. This is a very rigorous task. I don't know how I do it, but we have come out with an idea that it's possible. So again, we are thinking about obviously in an experimental domain. Theoretical domain, we are also working with it, but it's very tough, but we are hopeful we could do it. So this is the a whole schematic diagram. You could see just starting from figure A, B, C, and D. So initially figure A is showing you that we'll be growing the HBN thin films on top of silicon carbide substrate. After that, we are using add atom like say lead or something like that. So that will just sit on top of the film without penetrating it. So that is kind of it's not substitution. If you know the concept of doping will always substitute an atom. But here it will just just adsorb on top of the atom without creating any kind of penetration. And finally, you'll encapsulate these foreign atoms by another layer of the hexagonal boron nitride, so that you could have some artificial vacuums. Like on top of that, you have encapsulated layer. Then you are having some kind of foreign atoms, and then at the beneath you are having your another hexagonal boron nitride followed by the substrate. So in this way, you'll be creating some artificial vacuum. And then we'll control this, why it is called deterministic quantum point defects, because we have the control, we will have the control to, control this layered atom, so that based on that, we could emit the single photon emission out of it. So when you are thinking about just randomly growing a material, the point defects could be, anywhere, like it could be, randomly, situated anywhere, but in case of deterministic, you could easily control it. This is the idea what we are working right now. God knows what will happen, but definitely it sounds really good. And last, I just would like to tell you, especially for the undergrad or the postgrad students who are thinking to pursue their career in research, or even if you're thinking about getting a job in the US, what kind of path you should follow. So currently, if you know, I don't know whether you are having any idea or not, if you follow LinkedIn or Twitter, then you could easily get this kind of idea where the White House has already announced, $1 billion to build 12 new artificial intelligence and quantum institutes nationwide, because China has already built, a quantum satellite, which is almost non-hackable. And that is a big threat for United States of America. So that's why, Pentagon and White House are always thinking day and night to invest lots of money, because they don't have any problem with the money to invest lots of money in different institutes. They just need some idea to implement those ideas. You need to be work very hard. So 12 new artificial intelligence and quantum institutes are they are thinking right now that will ensure the next great cutting edge innovations. The future of the American economic prosperity and national security will be shaped by how we invest, research, develop, and deploy these cutting edge technologies today. So the funding agency in US is very popular, which is actually NSF, or National Science Foundation. they are thinking to split this money, like say $140 million for artificial intelligence, and the DOE, that is another very popular institute here. They're going to invest $625 million for quantum centers, and $340 million they're expecting from industry. So if you have passion for quantum physics, or say even if you are very expert in coding and would like to join in quantum computer science. So if you are working in the domain of quantum computer science, or even if you're from different domain, but have a passion for working with the computer science domain, then you're most welcome. But only thing you have to be very careful. You need to come with some some innovative idea. Only then they can entertain you. And how to apply for getting these opportunities to work with the professors in US. So you need to apply obviously through email, and don't write a very common statement for every professors, like they can easily catch. So if you have some ready-made format of an email and you are just copying and pasting to everyone, they can quickly get it and they are not going to entertain you. So I think that's the way. But again, if you are having some publications at your undergrad, that would be wonderful. Although I didn't have any publications in my undergrad, neither my master's level. That is quite impossible if you're working in West Bengal, to be honest. So that is quite difficult. But again, if you're having, if you're working in some premier institutes like say Yadavpur or IIT KGP, you can expect it. Because they're working in that way. But again, if you have it, that's fine. If you don't have it, then try to get some publications. Maybe you can take 1 year or 2 years more to work with the professor, so that you could get at least one publication. Because if you have publications, automatically the chance will be increased very, very high. So I think another way to follow what's the research trend is happening across USA. So this is, you could see that the basic research chatter is their Q&A, the question and answer session was already organized by the Air Force Research Lab, and you could easily tweet something in their Twitter page and they will reply. I promise they will reply, because I have done it while sitting in India a year back. So I have some questions. I just tweeted it and immediately they replied. So if you just follow them in Twitter or LinkedIn, these two platforms they are actually using. I don't know any other platforms whether they're using or not, but these two platforms they are using rigorously. So you could get some new idea. You could interact with them if you have some questions. I think these two are the best platforms to interact with the researchers in USA. With that, I'd like to thank all of you for your kind attention.
Okay, Shantanu, I see there are a few questions in the chat box. So if you could answer them briefly. The first question is from Monali Poddar. Can you highlight an optical characterization for the thin films developed?
Yeah. Okay, PL. No, I have not yet shown this PL measurement in my presentation, but yes, we are working still, like just few hours after I have to go to lab for doing PL measurement. As I mentioned that right now I'm using two different lasers for my PL measurement. One is like 532 nanometer laser and another is like say close to 400 nanometer laser. So PL measurement is one of the most important tool to get good quality of your optical properties. But right now, to be honest, we are not getting that result what we are looking for. It's tough because whenever you are doing photoluminescence measurements, you have to be very careful. It should be in a dark room, completely dark. Even if you are getting some kind of a light from your background, from your room, that will completely spoil the quality and the optical properties. So yes, we are working with it, but I have not yet shown you because this is not yet published, so I didn't show it here.
The next question is from Shanjit Shakar of Ashwin Evening College.
Okay.
Are you growing epitaxial films of HBN?
Yeah, we are working for it. we are growing, and that's why we have chosen MBE for growing this material. But again, we are literally struggling because the problem what we are facing right now. Now let me tell you how we actually do it. It's not a matter of one day, because initially you have to clean your substrate. So what we are doing after cleaning the sapphire substrate, we are actually bake it for overnight, say around 800 degrees centigrade, 900 degrees centigrade. We are baking it for overnight, and the next day, like say in third day, first day we are cleaning the substrate, second day we are actually baking it, and third day we start our growth. And but unfortunately, I don't know why the sample is falling inside the chamber. So we are yet to report about epitaxial layer, but exactly, yeah, we are looking for epitaxial layer. I don't know when we'll get it. It's quite complicated right now, what I think.
Fine. The next question is from Uttiyo Ornav Shaha. Is there any chance that the pristine nature of a material may get disturbed during characterization due to the interaction by the characterizing electrons or photons?
Well, when you are thinking about the crystalline nature and you have mentioned electrons, phonons, or phonons or photons, I didn't get it.
Let me read it once again. Is there any chance that the pristine nature of a material may get disturbed during characterization due to the interaction by the characterizing electrons or photons? Photons, not phonons.
Okay, so for crystalline, ensuring good crystalline quality, we are actually using XRD. So I don't find any reason that it would get disturbed, because as you have mentioned, the crystalline quality, if it is single crystalline, you'll get only one peak. If you're getting polycrystalline, you'll get multiple peaks. So there should not be any kind of disturbance. But if it is disturbing, then there is some kind of measurement artifacts or something else you need to be careful related with the wavelength of the laser. That is, I think, fixed. It's a 1.54 angstrom, something like that. And I don't find any reason to get disturbed because of this.
Fine. The next question is from Shunjit Sharkar. You are growing multi-layered HBN. How will you control the single layers?
That's a good question. Initially, we are looking for a single layer, and then we'll gradually go for multi-layer. How would I control? That's why we are using MBE. The basic difference between MBE and MOCVD is like you could control the layer by layer thickness, because in MBE you could control the the growth layer, the deposition layer. That's why it's quite expectable that we could control the thickness. But until unless we get it, it's very difficult. You need to optimize certain parameters, definitely. Now, parameters like you need to be very careful what kind of flux you're using, what kind of temperature you're using. In MBE, there are two types of temperatures. For example, you may see that, or you may apply, say, 1000 degrees centigrade in MBE, but the surface could get something like 850 or 900 degrees centigrade. So a difference around 100 degrees centigrade could be there, and the difference could be observable through your pyrometer. So heater temperature is one temperature and pyro temperature is another temperature. So this kind of parameters are there. So you need to carefully optimize these parameters. And this is not the matter of just 1 day or 1 month. It may even take a year, because no one has used this material in my lab so that I could get some idea from both guys. But things like that, they have worked in gallium nitride, they have worked in indium arsenide phosphide. So you could get some basic training of MB from these guys. But while thinking about your own material, every material has different parameters to optimize. So we are optimizing these parameters. And as I mentioned, these parameters like temperature, flux, everything you need to take care before ensuring something like whether you really get this control over the thickness or not. It's a very tough job, but we are quite hopeful for it.
Okay. I also have a question.
Sure.
Okay. Are any of your photonic materials being patented for use by industry? I mean, are there any projects funded by industry rather than the NSF? And are you collaborating with Indian industry as well?
We recently got some, NSF project just a few months back, and myself and my professor has actually worked for that. But that is not related with the hexagonal boron nitride. That is something like, gallium nitride. nanoware, where InGaN will be a quantum dot. And so we are thinking, getting the single photon emission in two different ways. One is hexagonal boron nitride, from where you'll get the single photon emission from that, point defects or the deterministic quantum point defects, whatever I have already shown you. And another is like you need to grow a nanoware. This is a gallium nitride nanoware. And inside of the gallium nitride nanoware, there should be some quantum dot, InGaN quantum dot, that will emit your single photon emission. So we just got a proposal, a fund from NSF for this project. And I think you have one more question related with it. Could you please repeat?
Well, I was asking if you have any collaboration going on with Indian industry as well.
Yeah, as I mentioned, I've shown you IIT Bombay and JNCSR Bangalore.
Okay. Fine. Does anybody else have any more questions, please? Shuktidi, any more questions, please? Okay.
No.
Okay, then
It's all right.
we thank Dr. Shantanu Saha profusely for agreeing to wake up early in the morning and deliver the lecture. Thank you, Shantanu. And I pass on the baton to our teacher in charge, Madam Dr. Shukti Shaharoy, for delivering the vote of thanks. Shukti.
Good evening. I, on behalf of Surendranath Evening College, like to thank all of you present in this one-day international webinar organized by the Department of Electronic Science and IQAC of Surendranath Evening College, titled A Peek into Advanced Research in Electronics and Related Areas. We are very happy today to have with us two eminent speakers of this field, namely Professor Debashish De from Macau, India, and Dr. Shantanu Saha from Ohio State University, USA, to throw light on this topic. I like to thank all the faculty members of the Electronics Department for choosing such a topic which seems to be very useful for research scholars as well as for faculty members and students also. We are very much engaged with the interesting and innovative speeches delivered by our two eminent speakers, and thus I convey my heartfelt thanks to both of them from all of us. I also like to thank our IQAC coordinator, Sri Devapriya Sannal, for his support and cooperation. I also convey my thanks to Srimati Shatarupa Saha and Dr. Himadrinath Saha for their technical support for hosting this webinar. I convey my heartfelt thanks to all the governing body members, especially to our President, Dr. Rathindranath Basu, who always encourages us in this regard. I also like to thank all the teaching and non-teaching staff of our college for their constant support and cooperation. Without the help of them, it is not possible to host such a webinar in this pandemic situation. I am grateful to all of you participating in this webinar for your cooperation and believe that in future also you extend your hand of cooperation to us like today. So please stay at home, stay safe, and keep social distancing. Let's hope for a better tomorrow. With these few words, we have come to an end of this today's webinar. Thank you all of you again.
বাবা তোর ফোনটা এতক্ষণ আটকে রেখেছিলাম